Magandang araw po ulit and welcome to another video. And this time, in this video, pag-usapan naman natin is all about the main board or yung motherboard. Okay, so para saan nga ba ang isang motherboard within a PC build? Okay, so basically, si motherboard is yung component na responsible to interconnect yung mga parts ng inyong PC. Okay, so yung processor, yung memory, yung GPU, yung storage, yung mga sound devices. So, it is the motherboard responsibility para mag-usap-usap sila, di ba? Para magkita-kita sila and to ensure that all the parts of your component is working optimally as designed. Okay? So, mahalaga rin yung motherboard kasi yun nga, kumbaga, in a way, overall performance ng PC mo is nakasalalay dun sa pagpili mo ng motherboard and then at the same time, yung upgrade path or yung capability nung inyong PC build to upgrade in the future is also based on what is the design of your motherboard. Okay, so basically that's how it works. Okay, and in this video, pag-usapan natin yung motherboard na ginamit ko with my build at kung ano-ano yung mga features or specifications nung board na ito. Okay, for this product, so ang ginamit ko po is yung ASUS ROG Strix B550-A gaming. So let's run through with the specifications of this motherboard. So let's start with the performance. So first on the list, yung tinatawag ni ASUS na Pro Cool Power Connector. So what it means is that when it comes to the circuit flow, okay, yung power delivery, coming from the PSU going to the main board, so it is ensuring that the supply has a lower impedance para mas okay yung heat or yung heat transfer between the components. Okay? Then another one is that this motherboard is designed specifically for AMD, which is using the AM4 socket. So initially this was designed for Ryzen CPUs na 3000 series. Okay? So nung nagkaroon ng update or nung upgrade yung AM4 socket ni AMD, so out of the box, this board also, aside from 3000 series, this board also supports yung AMD Ryzen 4000 series at yung latest na series ngayon, which is the 5000 series. Okay? What else is that it also supports yung multi-GPU support, multi-GPU. So which is yung, sa AMD, they termed it as AMD Crossfire. So what it means is that if you have multiple AMD video cards, so you can plug it in this motherboard at pwede mo silang i-interconnect to gain a better experience or better performance when it comes to your video cards. Okay? Then another one is yung 12+2 na power stages. So what I also like with this motherboard, actually yun na yung nagiging trend ng mga motherboards right now when it comes to power delivery. Okay, so this one comes with 12+2. So overall, there are 14 themed power stages. Okay, to ensure na kung ano man yung processor na gagamitin mo, it gets the right amount of current, it gets the right amount of supply to ensure na yung processor mo will work in its best or at least optimal condition. Okay? And then at the same time, with the number of the power stages, so it will also ensure na yung transfer, yung heat will also be optimized using this board. Okay? The same time, the more na mas nag-improve yung power stages ng ating motherboard, the more na mas nagiging capable yung board natin to handle yung mga higher model or yung mga higher performance model ng mga processors. So I think this one can support up to Ryzen 9. Now, yung gamit ko ngayon is Ryzen 7, which has 8 cores and 16 threads. But with the design of the VRMs, I believe this board can also support up to Ryzen 9 na processors. Okay? What else is yung DDR4? So basically, that's already standard nowadays. So DDR4 na sockets comes with 4 sockets ng DDR4 na supporting also yung dual channel. Okay, then there's also a feature from ASUS which they call yung ASUS Optimum 2. Na what does it mean is that it is ensuring na yung communication between the CPU and the memory is optimal, okay? At the same time, yung signal interference is kept, no? Kumbaga yung signal between processor and memory is also good na walang masyadong kumbaga walang masyadong sagabal, no? To ensure na yung transfer is always best. Okay? Then what else to its performance is that it comes with dalawang M.2 na sockets. Okay, so kung makikita po ninyo, yan, itong upper part which is connected to the CPU and then yung lower part which is connected to the chipset 1. Okay, so that's it for the performance. Then let's also go to its cooling capability. So, as you can see from this one, so yung motherboard na to, it comes with a good heatsink. Yung VRM na heatsink which covers yung upper portion nating VRM, then yung left or yung side portion ng ating VRM. So napakaganda po nung kanyang heatsink, okay? And then at the same time, it has a separate AIO pump header. So if you will decide later on to do yung water cooling, so meron pong separate na fan header kung saan dun nyo isasaksak yung ating AIO. So it's dedicated to ensure na, kumbaga, I think kapag AIO is always naka 12 volts yung ginagamit nun, unlike yung mga PWM fan na pwede nating kontrolin yung speed. Okay? So, what else is yun nga, yung na-mention natin kanina na M.2 na slots. So, hindi lang siya basta M.2 na slots, meron din siyang provided na heatsink, no, to ensure na whatever storage that we will put on this motherboard, yung heat transfer nun, yung heat dissipation pa rin nun is na-handle ng ating heatsinks, okay, ng ating M.2 heatsinks. Ito po yun, itong upper part tsaka sa lower part. And then, yung kanyang chipset, yung chipset also has a corresponding heatsink. So, nakikita natin na ASUS designed it very well na kung ano yung mga critical components which requires cooling is properly covered by this product. Okay? So, aside from the heatsink, yun nga, yung kanyang fan headers. So, there are multiple 4-pin PWM fan headers. So, I think overall, meron siyang parang parang 5. So, sa CPU pa lang meron ng 2. Yung normal na CPU, tsaka meron siyang optional na CPU fan header. Okay? Then, on this part, dito, meron tayong makikita dyan na fan header din, or yung para dun sa case fan natin. And then, sa lower part, meron pa rin siyang fan headers na available. Okay, so overall, there are a lot of options if you wanted to have a setup or yung airflow ng fan. There's a lot of option that you can put, okay, on this motherboard. Okay, so what else when it comes to gaming? So syempre this is a gaming brand, okay? So it supports unang-una is yung tinatawag ni ASUS na Supreme FX S122A codec. Okay? So what makes this Supreme FX different with the typical na Realtek na audio solutions which is running also in ASC 1220 codec is that when it comes to shielding technology, yung managing ng yung lines, managing ng audio lines, yung interference is with the Supreme FX ino-optimize po yun. Ino-optimize ni ASUS, and ASUS is ensuring that it is delivering the high quality output and input. Okay? And then it also has yung parang simple na amplifier na kung saan mas better yung sound na pinuproduce ng Supreme FX S1220 codec compared with the regular na Realtek Audio ALC 1220. And then what else? Syempre sa gaming hindi na mawawala yung ating pailaw. Okay? So this board supports 5-volt ARGB na header, and then 2 na 12-volt na RGB headers. Okay? So, and syempre, ASUS has that propriety or yung term na ginagamit nila which is yung ASUS Aura Sync, no, to control yung lights or yung LEDs na isasalpak natin within this motherboard. Okay? So what else when it comes to connectivity? Actually, isa sa mga nagustuhan ko no na feature ng board na to is that kapag sinilip nyo po yung kanyang I/O or yung backplate, no, ang daming options na pwede mong gamitin especially when it comes din sa USB part. So first, run through natin first yung tinatawag na BIOS flashback button wherein you can also update the BIOS even you don't have the proper setup yet ng inyong system unit. So, as long as you can power it with a power supply and meron kang USB, you can download the BIOS on that USB and then saksak mo siya, then there's a flashback button there that you can use to initiate or to trigger yung update ng BIOS ng ating motherboard. So, it also has, yun nga, yung several multiple amounts ng USB ports starting from USB 2.0, USB na 3.2, Generation 1, and Generation 2. So, ang daming USB options, which is what I love with this motherboard. Okay? It also comes with Intel i225, the 2.5 gigabit internet. If in case you decided to go with an APU type or built-in graphics, which is yung kinonsider ko with my build. So this one also has two ports for the monitor. So meron tayong isang display port na 1.2 at also HDMI version 2.1. When it comes to the audio, syempre yung Supreme FX na feature ng ating motherboard. So ASUS paired it up with a good options of different inputs. So, unang-una, nandun na pwede siya capable siya to handle yung optical or yung fiber optics na sound connectivity. And then, at the same time, it also has yung 5 na audio jacks. So, 5 audio jacks, so meaning you can choose between different configuration. Either you can go with a stereo, with a typical left and right. So, pwede ka ring mag-explore going to 5.1, no? So, meron kang center, meron kang left and right, at meron kang rear na left and right. Okay? And at the same time, pwede mo rin piliin yung virtual surround sound, which is 7.1 option. So, you can set up basically a home theater with this motherboard. So, another thing is that meron siyang 6 times na SATA to handle yung ating mga storages. Okay, and then the last part is yung napaka-rare na support nowadays. So, but these boards is also supporting yung Thunderbolt header, which is known if you wanted a fast and reliable speed data transfer. Okay, so one of the notable features of this motherboard is that this motherboard supports yung PCIe version 4.0. So basically with the PCIe 4.0, you have a flexible options when it comes to the storage setup. No? So kasi si 4.0 is promises to deliver yung faster na data transmission and then mas reliable and then mas efficient din no yung delivery when using yung PCIe. But syempre, it still depends on the compatibility with your processor. Just like for my case, since I'm using an APU type which is only supporting yung PCIe 3.0. So sadly on my part or on my build right now, hindi ko pa ma-utilize yung PCIe 4.0. But at least it's good to know that it's there so that later on, when I upgrade, pwede ko pa rin ma-optimize yung PCIe 4.0 kapag kinailangan ko na siya. Okay? So, another feature is, isa rin sa mga nagustuhan ko is yung kanyang audio handling. So, meron siyang noise cancelling. So, ASUS termed it as AI noise cancelling na when it comes to the mic setup or audio setup, pwede kang maglagay ng noise cancelling sa inyong input devices such as yung mics na gagamitin ninyo and then also with the output. So even yung inyong speakers, pwede kang mag-set up ng noise cancelling. So, it's two-way. Pwedeng may noise cancelling ka sa mics mo, sa input, at pwede ka rin mag-setup ng noise cancelling within your audio outputs. So, that's also what's part. Then, siguro to discuss further, yung Supreme FX na technology. So, yun nga, ano-ano yung nandun. So, meron siyang audio cover to ensure na na shielded properly yung ating audio line when it comes to electrical circuits. Okay? Then, yung dual OP amplifiers, and then yung capacitors na ginamit, which is yung premium Nichicon audio capacitors to ensure that the audio is delivered properly at saka stable at efficient yung magiging performance or yung output ng ating audio. One thing I like about the gaming motherboard is that, although hindi naman ako gamer, pero kasi when you go for a gaming motherboard, nandun kasi kinoconsider na nila yung stability, yung durability, yung highest performance capable na pwede ma-offer ng ating motherboard. So, build-wise, this board is good. So far, so good. Kasi nga, yun, yung kanyang PCB kung meron siyang makapal, no? Yung pinaka PCB layer niya, kung titingnan natin, is makapal. And then at the same time, yung the way na binild yung mga components within this board, considering na this is one of the gaming setup or lineup, so sigurado tayo na matibay talaga, and it will really last you for a really good number of years. So this one also has yung game first feature na kung saan this motherboard optimizes yung inyong network utilization. So if you are streaming or if you are gaming, so this board handles dynamically to ensure na hindi maglalag yung mga streams, na hindi kayo maglalag sa games. So that's what the game first feature is, kumbaga yung purpose ng game first feature within this motherboard. Okay. So that's for the specifications and the features na meron tong motherboard na ito. Okay, so siguro before we end, let's also give some guidelines kung ano-ano ba yung mga considerations mo whenever you are planning to take a motherboard. So, first, you have to consider yung size ng motherboard na gagamitin niyo. So, if you wanted to go for an ITX, micro ATX, or a full size na ATX na board. Okay? So, by the way, this is a full ATX size na board. So, nakadepende kasi rin kung ano yung case na gagamitin mo, tsaka yung budget na kailangan mo. So, that's one thing for you to consider whenever choosing a motherboard. Another thing is yung nagiging in-trend ngayon, which is a crucial part ng feature sa isang motherboard, is yung kanyang VRM setup and then yung cooling capability or cooling features ng kanyang VRM. So, normally, the more the power stages are, the better the performance of the motherboard when it comes to cooling solution. So, syempre, you have to consider it with the processor na gagamitin niyo para hindi naman maging overkill. Okay? Pero at least, mas maganda nang nag-exceed ng konti kesa naman yung kukulangin, no? Baka naman masyadong heavy yung processor na gagamitin nyo, but the motherboard cannot support it. So, that's what we wanted to avoid. Okay, so mas okay na medyo lower end yung ating processor, but our motherboard can fully support that one to ensure na napipiga pa rin ng motherboard natin yung best processing or performance nung processor na isasalpak or na i-combine natin with that motherboard. Okay, so third guidelines or consideration is syempre yung connectivity options. So pag tinignan natin yung sa likod, so ilang USB ba yung kailangan mo, anong klaseng display port yung kailangan mo, when it comes to the network connectivity, ano yung LAN na speed performance, or if you wanted to go for a Wi-Fi, gusto ba nung Wi-Fi capable na motherboard. So that's one thing that you wanted that you may also consider whenever choosing your motherboard. And then the next one is you have to mix and match your motherboard with your parts list. So what I mean with mix and match is that ano ba yung processor na gagamitin mo? Are you going for an Intel or an AMD processor? Kasi every motherboard po is designed for a specific brand ng ating processor. And then at the same time, yung different sockets din nun, which kung ano yung supported. No? So not necessarily Intel yung binili mo na processor at bumili ka ng Intel na motherboard is pwede mo na agad siya maisalpak. So you need to consider the socket. Okay? Same thing with AMD. Although what's good with AMD is that yung AM4 socket nila is very long time. No? You can have a multiple set of processors which supports the same AM4 socket. Okay? So another thing is yung storage option. So if you wanted to, kung pwede ba siya na, kung capable yung motherboard to support yung NVMe or yung SATA SSD lang na storage types. So if you wanted to go for an NVMe storage, so you have to ensure that your motherboard also supports that one. Okay? At syempre yung isa sa pinaka kailangan ano, kasi in siya talaga is yung RGB specifications. So kailangan mo i-consider ano yung supported na RGB options nung inyong motherboard. Whether it supports ARGB or RGB. Kasi totally different po yung dalawang klase ng setup ng lighting options na yun. And then, last guideline that I can share is yung plan mo for your upgrade path. So it is also very important for me to consider para at least hindi ka lang na-stuck kung ano yung build mo ngayon. So you have to consider the motherboard na pwede ka pa rin makapag-upgrade. So at least one step or two step na upgrade path para at least nababudget mo na rin, no? Hindi ka na rin kailangan gumastos ng malaki in the near future if in case you decided to go for an upgrade kapag hindi na namimit no current build mo yung task na kailangan mo within the PC. So that's it for this video. So just a reminder, kung di pa po kayo nakasubscribe sa ating channel, you may subscribe and like this video, okay? And then if in case, sa tingin nyo kung meron man akong na-miss or kung meron kang gustong features na isang motherboard or kung meron kang katanungan within a motherboard, you can also type it in the comment section to let me know, no, kung ano yung mga gusto mo pang malaman with the motherboards na ating diniscuss. Okay? So maraming salamat po and I hope na meron ulit tayong bagong information at meron kayong natutunan with this simple video. Maraming salamat po ulit. Thank you and God bless.